this concerns RFK Jr., and there's been some very good stuff lately happening on the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. presidential campaign. This begins with an article I was going to talk about last week that comes courtesy of Page Six, that I think is like the first like Pulitzer level campaign reporting for the 2024 election season. Headline: Robert F. Kennedy Jr. press dinner explodes in war of words and farting. It's okay. Camelot, it ain't. Page Six regrets to report that a press dinner to boost Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign descended into a foul bout of screaming and polemic farting Tuesday night. The White House hopeful attended the affair at Tony's on the Upper East Side, no doubt hoping to impress on the ladies and gentlemen of the Fourth Estate his worthiness to sit at the very same Oval Office desk once occupied by his late uncle. But a shouting match over the climate change broke out between two boisterous old men, sending the evening down an extremely unfortunate path. The gaseous exchange, to which Page Six bore reluctant witness, began after a guest asked Kennedy, founder of the ecological organization Waterkeeper Alliance, about the environment. It seemed that the mere inquiry was enough to set off apparently drunk gossip columnist turned flack Doug Deshert, the host of the event, who became enraged and screamed at the top of his lungs, "The climate hoax!" Meanwhile, octogenarian art critic Anthony Hayden Guest, who had appeared to have been sleeping happily for most of the dinner, was roused by the abrupt rumpus. He suddenly opened his eyes and denounced his longtime pal Deshert, calling him a miserable blob. "Shut up," implored Hayden Guest. Hayden Guest tells us he was not asleep. "I was just thinking," he told us, and says that he is the one who asked the question about the environment. Deshert continued to scream wildly about the climate change scam, while Hayden Guest peppered him with verbal volleys from across the table, calling him variously fucking insane and insignificant. Meanwhile, Kennedy, a prospective president of the United States, watched calmly. Here, it seems, Deshert sensed the need for a new rhetorical tack and let rip a loud, prolonged fart while yelling as if to underscore his point, "I'm farting." I would highly recommend looking up this Page Six article just to see just to see what Mr. Deshert and Anthony Hayden Guest look like.
Mr. Deshert,
because it is very fitting.
I like that the high level Kennedy campaign dinners are like the class that they put Precious in the movie. It's like it is like the remedial and like bad kids class for donors.
It's like season 4 of The Wire, where Bunny has the class for like all the disruptive kids who are just all the corner kids who can't sit still and are screaming the entire time so other kids can't learn.
Yeah, this is like you
have to, Mr. Presbo. Fuck you.
Yeah, you have to be an RFK donor if you're like too fucked up to be a Trump donor. Like you can't that's like failing out of the classes they have for like kids on the football team who they want to keep on. This is the most remedial classroom I've ever heard of.
I also like that, given the age and location of all these people, it sounds like the group of like the last men standing from the people who couldn't get in the room when John F. Kennedy was hanging out with the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of guys who imagine themselves as like hep cats in like 1963 and just are the ones who made it to 85 before they died of like lung cancer or some kind of stomach ulcer from surviving only on whiskey for 20 years.
I like it.
It's ring-a-ding-ding for this climate change bunk. Hey, Dino used to fart in my mouth all the time back at the Sands.
And RFK is just like letting this happen. Like he's not like, this is ridiculous, we're above this. He's like, no, we should let this play out. It's I got to hear both these guys out.
Mr. Descharts is a very old friend. We got to hear what he has to say.
The room, which included a handful of journalists as well as Kennedy's campaign manager, former Representative Dennis Kucinich, was stunned, seemingly unsure about whether Deshert was farting at Hayden Guest personally or at the very notion of global warming. Regrettably, we may assure readers that there was no room for doubt that the climate changed in the immediate environs of the dinner table. The candidate maintained a steady composure in the face of the crisis. Former Page Six reporter Flo Anthony attempted to change the subject, telling Kennedy how much he admired his father, the tragic Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy. Sadly, and somewhat inexplicably, another guest brought things back to climate change, leading to another round of yelling. We're told Deshert and Hayden Guest have known each other for 3 decades. When asked about the comment about his outburst the next day, Deshert told us, "I apologize for using my flatulence as a medium of public commentary in your presence." He also asked us to refer to him as either a gallivanting boulevardier or a beer-fueled sex rocket. A beer-fueled sex rocket.
How old is Doo-Doo Deshert? How old is he?
At least 60. At least in his 60s.
Damn. Yeah, this is... I wouldn't say his campaign is, like, above this. This is, like... Yeah, this is pretty much what the RFK campaign deserves. Was this the same dinner where he was like, you know, Jews and Chinese people descended from
yes. Yes, Felix. In fact, it actually was.
It was literally the same dinner?
I was like, yeah.